What are some things weighing you down that you may need advice on? My sister's fiancé should be mine. Please help. First off, I want to say that I love my sister. We have a great relationship, and I really don't want to upset her. She is an absolutely great person, and if I had to be anyone other than myself, I would choose her. But I am technically better than her in almost every measurable way. She knows this too, and it doesn't make her uncomfortable. She actually admires me for this. For example, she has admitted it many times that I have better physical characteristics than she does. She knows I am more attractive than her, even though while growing up, I was more on the reserved side, so she would often get more social attention and praise, while I kept to myself most of the time. I've noticed recently that she keeps implying I'm not more attractive than her. The other day, we were texting and she literally said, "Maybe I have better DNA after all." I thought it was weird, but shrugged it off as no big deal. I think she was just feeling more and more confident, which is a good thing. Then, she introduced me to some of her close college friends, and she spent a lot of the time explaining and downplaying my successes. For example, I got my biomedical engineering degree from Georgia Tech at age 20, and made principal scientist at a top biotech firm a few short years after. I am a top triathlons competitor, and I have already completed an Ironman triathlon. My sister to her friends, "Say hi to my sister guys, she's smart, funny, and I love her to death." Normally, this would be fine because we were all just kind of hanging out and being chill, except this was my first time meeting her fiancé, Liam. My sister and Liam have been dating for 4 months before he recently proposed, but this was my first time meeting him since they go to college in a different state, and I am visiting. Liam is freaking gorgeous. He is going to graduate with a degree in bioengineering. Weird. He also runs triathlons. Okay, second coincidence. My sister is in shape, but in contrast is not nearly as active and plays no sports, wants to be a singer, and is going to graduate with a degree in political science. Later that night, Liam, my sister and I went out to dinner. We all had a great time and discussed things such as career goals, motivators, hobbies, etc. At this point, I found out we had way more in common than I first thought. My visit lasted 5 more days with more of the 3 of us hanging out. At the end of my visit, my sister and I had a one-on-one discussion about her engagement. Sister: "So what do you think of Liam?" Me: "He is great. I am so happy for you. You guys are cute." Sister: "Yeah, he reminds me of you sometimes lol." Me: "What do you mean?" Sister: "You guys are just really similar. So, I am glad you got to spend some time with us in person. Did you notice any red flags?" Me: "No, he genuinely seems great." Why? Is something on your mind? She took a while to respond, then responded, "Sister, I don't want to marry him." When he proposed, I felt really overwhelmed to say yes, so I did. It was in a public setting and our friends were there. I am actually pretty resentful that he put me in that situation. I am not sure what to do about this because I do care about him, but I don't think I love him the way he loves me. I don't think we can bounce back from something like this, and I am not sure that I want to. What do you think? Me: "You can't rush into a marriage because of pressure. End the engagement now, do it as soon as possible. Tonight, if you are ready." She did, and 3 days later they broke up. It has been 7 days from their breakup, and I want to pursue Liam. I think we would be perfect for each other, so I want him for myself. I love my sister, but it is just my nature to pursue the things I want with full force. My sister will forgive me for this. Here are some questions and considerations. How much time needs to pass before this is socially appropriate? What should I say to my sister to minimize how much this will hurt her in the short term? Just to be clear, I have his contact information, and I am definitely going to pursue him. This will not change. I just want more advice on how to take care of my little sister's feelings, given I have already decided to do this. Thanks. Also, this is not a Reddit post. I asked TTS Reads to post this on her channel, and she reluctantly agreed lol. I have been fairly warned that I may get a lot of comments about me being selfish or inconsiderate, but I still want to do this. I will be reading the video comments and providing an update later. I have been a stay-at-home dad for about 8 months, taking care of my 14-month and 3-year-old. This has been an eye-opening, a mentally and physically insightful experience. The payoff has been amazing. My kids are happy, healthy, and both are accelerated for their ages. I couldn't be prouder as a father. As a husband, I have been everything my wife could ask for, so she tells me. Her career has accelerated in ways that wouldn't be possible if she stayed home. She is very grateful, and shows me her gratitude, frequently. So everything is dandy, and whatnot, so why am I about to start complaining? Because when I take my kids to playgrounds or play spaces literally anywhere kids play, I get excluded from conversations. specifically with other moms. I consider myself a social butterfly. I can talk to anyone about anything, hold any conversation for as long as the other person feels comfortable. When I approach mothers, and try starting a conversation, always about kids, I get shut down. My kids are always within eyesight, so it's not like I'm a rando creeper hitting on moms at parks. Just yesterday, I asked a lady how old her son is, and she said sorry, not interested. Our kids were playing together, so I thought it'd be alright if I made some small talk. That was one of many times I've been brushed off, so I tend to stay to myself or just play with my kids. Some days are very long, so having a conversation with an adult would be nice. Yes, I talk with my wife, but the nights are usually occupied by bathing the kids, feeding them, reading to them, etc. I would just like to know if there is something different that I should say or do to make other mothers/parents less uncomfortable, because that's what it feels like. I am normally the only man among 10 to 15 mothers. It doesn't help that kids love playing with me. They see me running around with my sons, and tend to join. My husband and I have reached a consensus now that we are parents. The level of toxic bullcrap previously tolerated from certain dysfunctional family members is at an all-time low. We refuse to subject our children to the chaos of certain unstable relatives just because it's the holidays, and there's this expectation that we're supposed to just suck it up and roll with it. We made a commitment to stay home on Christmas Day, and opt out of going to my mother's house, a place where on a good year, one might expect the following. 1. My mom might be only slightly drunk, and if she's having a sobriety streak, she's an anxious mess, and will have little outbursts and fits if the slightest thing goes awry. 2. My uncle, who is always stoned/drunk, swears like a sailor around children, and gives unsolicited parenting advice such as you should get her in sports. Get her in sports. Mind you, when he said this, our daughter was only 18 months old, and had only been walking for 8 months thus far. This is all coming from a man who has one illegitimate daughter from an extramarital affair years ago. The daughter is an adult now, and had no idea he is her father. Yes. Please give me your advice, you sage beacon of parental wisdom. 3. My sister, gosh bless her, who is a religious nut, spends the majority of the time talking about her therapist, Jesus, and emotional problems. Yes, sis, please tell me again about your resentment towards your bio father, and how you're sick of your husband's drinking, and how speaking in tongues at church is going to solve that. This year she finally moved out, so kudos to her on that. 4. My sister's stupid ass husband, a man who, like aforementioned uncle, cannot arrive to a family function sober. He actually cavorts with said uncle to smoke weed in yard, and make multiple trips to corner store to get 12-pack after 12-pack of beer, each time returning progressively more wasted until they're both a sloppy mess before dinner is even served. This year I've firmly laid boundaries with my mom, and stated we won't be attending Christmas at her place. It is so liberating. I've said she's welcome to come over to ours during the day, just her, no uncle, or have a nice dinner or gift exchange a couple days before. We're greatly looking forward to relaxing in pajamas all day, watching the kids open presents, and not frantically shuttling 2 tiny people around town, just so they can spend their Christmas in an emotionally toxic cesspool. So fellow parents, whose extended families put the funk in dysfunctional, please share how you've successfully laid boundaries with your insane families during the holidays, or just in general. Should I not have told off my fiancé's brother? Backstory on my boyfriend's brother is that I don't like him, and he doesn't like me. My family is comfortable without being wealthy, while my boyfriend's family is definitely wealthy, and the brother seems to think I'm a gold digger despite my boyfriend and I splitting everything 50-50. He is the kind of person who will ask the groom on the day of his wedding if he needs a getaway driver, and tell people to get prenups at their engagement party, and I'm saying this because I've seen him do both things more than once. I'm pregnant. It's definitely ahead of schedule, but my fiancé and I are happy about it. I'm around 5 months pregnant. My fiancé proposed about 2 weeks before we found out. We told his family earlier today over Zoom. His mom, dad, and sister congratulated us, and his brother did too, but then the brother made a joke about getting a prenup, which we are doing anyway. My fiancé's sister told him to shut the F up, and the dad said come on now in a reproachful tone, and then I said just checking, are you aware there are personality traits other than dickhead and edgelord? After which my fiancé's mother told me off for speaking to her son like that because he's just looking out for his brother. I asked if I'm just meant to let him say whatever he wants, then, call ended quickly after that, and now I've had messages from my future parents-in-law and brother-in-law all expecting me to apologize in order to smooth things over. Fiancé says not to apologize for crap, and his sister says they're ridiculous, but this might be the easiest way to move on, and pointed out that I did go for him there when they'd already spoken to him. What do you all think? My dad, his girlfriend, and the future DLDR, my dad is moving in with his long-term girlfriend and his son. I split my time between each parent. I will be staying at his new place, and have some worries about how this new change will work out regarding my relationship with my father. I spoke to my dad about all my anxieties, and he listened, supported, and promised to keep everything I said in his mind. I am still frightened that our relationship will change slowly, but surely. Hello everyone. I came here to have a place to share my thoughts out loud. I'm called Colby and I am 14 years old. I split between living with my mother and my father. I am the only child, and my parents separated just over a year ago. I am not sure why they separated, as they decided to keep that private, but explained they no longer loved one another, but still respected each other. My father announced to me that he has moved in with his long-term girlfriend of 1 year, and her son. I will be staying there for the week as it is his turn for visitation. I have met her before, and it has been very relaxed and infrequent. After these visits became more routine, I was then introduced to her son, who is 16 years old. I like them as people, but having to live with them feels a bit different to me. The positives will be that I will have my own room, and will be allowed to decorate and buy stuff for it this week. I am pleased that my dad has found somebody he really likes, as he seems really happy. I am sure more positives will occur once I am settled there. However, I am a bit anxious about a few things, like knowing my dad will now live further away from where I live with my mother. I feel like the visits may become reduced as the travel will be longer there and back. I worry I will struggle with the travel too, and from school, as it will require 4 buses there and back a day. I worry he may think it will be easier to communicate over the internet and over the phone, etc. I did notice that when my dad and his girlfriend started dating, I seemed to hear less from him for a few months, which was a bit confusing, and I panic this will happen again. My biggest worry is that I might struggle to settle with my dad's girlfriend and her son. If I want a meaningful relationship with my dad, then this new arrangement will have to work out regardless of whatever he feels now. I discussed my fears with my mother, who listened and comforted me, and suggested I talk to my dad before I go there. I did ring, and he reassured me fully, and I felt much better. Despite this, I still feel nervous about my stay there this week, and I feel anxious about the future, as they do seem really in love. Now I have started to realize that my parents are never getting back together, which has surprised me for some reason. I am not an anxious person in general, but this seems to be getting to me. Wish me luck, everyone. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.